Hey, welcome back to Inside the Vandals. We're joined now by women's basketball coach Jon Newlee. Coach, thanks so much for being with us.
Good to be here again, Tom.
Well, you guys are about 2 weeks away from opening the season. Are you guys pretty anxious to get going, or do you still feel that there's a bit of work to be done to be totally ready?
We got a lot of work to do still right now. I like where we're at. I feel like our returners came back in great shape, and the newcomers are picking things up pretty quickly. But still, at this time of year, you know, there's so much to be put in offensively, defensively, last-second stuff, you know, and in the game, special situations that I don't think I'll ever feel ready, you know, even when November 14th comes around.
What do you guys go through exactly? Obviously, you mentioned some of it just now. As you're leading up, what all things do you guys go through?
Well, I like to start out from an offensive standpoint, and we try to get our offenses in. We got a couple of base offenses that we're putting in. We haven't put in any plays out of those offenses yet. So we'll get those bases in, and then we'll hit the defense. We're going to try some different stuff. We're going to go back to our point zone a little more this year. And I put Krista Sanford, my associate head coach, in charge of that. And, you know, Gavin did a great job with it when he was here a few years ago. And we're going to get away a little bit from the man that we played. I think we're going to be a little more high pressure this year because of our depth. I think we're going to be able to do that. So that's exciting. It's fun. You know, we're putting in new stuff. And you don't want to get stale, you don't want to get old, you got to keep improving.
Does it just change every year when you have players coming in? Do you kind of evaluate them, then do your coaches sit down and say, what can we do this year, what can we change from last year? Does it just change like that every year?
Yeah, it does. I'll change some things according to our personnel. You know, I think on both sides, offense and defense. Like I said, this year I think we'll be able to press more, trap more because of the new players we brought in and our depth. I think offensively we'll be able to do a lot of the same things. You know, our shooters are all back, and you know, I love that three-point shot, so we'll be shooting that ball for sure. And the new guys will get in, and you know, we're bigger inside this year with Solo coming at 6'5", you know, as redshirt last year. Taylor 6'4", transfer from Missouri Junior College, so that'll help us inside. And you know, I think Jerry is doing well for a freshman, a 6'1" kid from Australia.
Now, 2 straight trips to the NCAA tournament for you guys. 3 of your 5 starters, that being Christina Salvatore, Connie Ballester, Allie Ford, have never not been to an NCAA tournament. How does that affect the mentality of your team going in?
Well, it's great. You know, they've done nothing but win here. You know, when they came out of high school, and their club team in particular, the Northwest Blazers, great club. Steve Cleese does a fantastic job. And, you know, they do nothing but win in the summertime. And they came in, and the other 2 from Southern California come out of the you know, the Orange County Club, the OC Rhythm, that Connie's dad coaches, and they do nothing but win. So they've continued the trend. Hopefully we keep it going, but you know, they're surrounded by other players now who have known that taste of winning and winning championships, and it builds on it. And they came in this year, I know, just in August when we had our first meeting. You know, you could tell they were ready to get going and get on the floor and get another ring.
With over 300 teams in D1 college basketball, how tough is it to get to the tournament, and how special is it to, I mean, you guys have been, again, 2 straight years.
It's an unbelievable achievement when you think about it. There's people that go their whole careers, coaching-wise and playing-wise, that never get a taste of the NCAA tournament. And, you know, I try to tell our players, look, you guys, this is something special for you, especially those guys who have never known anything but going to the tournament, you know. You know, again, my assistant, Krista, she'll know, you know, she played in 3 WNITs but never got to the dance. And you know, it's just a special accomplishment. No matter where you're seated, no matter where you're at, you know what, you're playing. There's a lot of teams sitting at home come that first round.
How does it help recruiting?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, the word is out. I can tell you we've got great response from the club coaches, the high school coaches in the area, outside of the area. They know what we're doing. They understand what we've done here and what we're building here. And we tell them if their kids want to come play and compete for championships, you know, be a Vandal.
What will the Big Sky be like compared to the WAC?
I think it's a much more deep league, I think, talent-wise. I think from top to bottom, every night's going to be a lot harder. We don't have the easy games that we had maybe in the WAC, you know, Chicago State, something like that, where you could just show up and pretty much win. We're not going to have that in the Big Sky. You know, Montana, North Dakota, Southern Utah tied for the thing last year. Say Montana State, Portland State. I mean, I could go down the list. Everybody has talent, and again, it won't be as easy a road as we had last year.
And obviously, you've been a coach in the Big Sky before at Idaho State. Does that help, just being that you have that experience already?
I think so. You know, I know a lot of the venues. excuse me, a lot of the same coaches are there, and like you said, we had success there. We won a couple of Big Sky championships down at Idaho State. So, I think I have a good feel for the league. My assistants do. So I think we can, impart some of that knowledge just going into the league and what to expect.
Obviously, 4 of the 5 starters back, but the starter you don't have back, Alyssa Charleston. How has it been so far not having her?
Well, it took me a long time to stop crying, Tom, when she left. But I'm over it now. Alyssa's doing great in Europe and playing great. Man, I'm so proud of her. I couldn't be more proud of any player I've ever coached, and losing a player like Alyssa on the floor, off the floor, everything she brought to the program. It's hard to replace, but you know what? Everybody else is stepping up, and I think, Brooke Riley's back off of her back surgery and playing extremely well right now. It's great to have Carly Wilson back from her knee injury. They stayed here all summer and rehabbed, and they look great right now in our practices. And once we get into scrimmaging, doing all that kind of stuff, I think, they're going to continue to play well. So everybody's just kind of stepping up. And, let's not forget Stacy Barr's still here, and she will be our leader this year.
That's my last question I was going to ask about Stacy. Last year's WAC Player of the Year, coming into the Big Sky this year, they've given her the preseason nod for Player of the Year. How tough is it for a player like her to repeat her performance? How much will teams be game planning for her?
Well, they will. She's not a surprise to anybody. She's a great player. She's one of the great Vandals ever here. And, I think people will be game planning for her. But luckily for us, we have other weapons. And, the more they zero in on Stacy and double team and triple team her, the more Christina and Connie and Allie and everybody else will be able to step up and show what they're capable of doing. And they're great players in their own right. So if they want to, focus in on hold Stacy down, that's all right, because the Vandals still come out winning.
He's head coach Jon Newlee. Coach, thanks again for coming on.
Thanks, Tom.
Much more to come here on Inside the Vandals. We'll check in with the Idaho volleyball team, who had themselves a great weekend, and on the Idaho women's soccer team as well, a thriller that they were in. Stick with us here on Inside the Vandals.